On October 17th, an explosion occurred in the courtyard of Al-Ahli Arab Hospital in Gaza City, killing civilians. Palestinian officials blamed Israel, but a visual analysis by the Wall Street Journal shows that the explosion was caused by a failed rocket launched from inside Gaza, where Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad have been shooting rockets into Israel since the war began 2 weeks ago. At around 6:59 p.m. local time, 4 cameras capture the moments before and after the incident. The Journal geolocated and verified the timing of the footage and mapped each camera's vantage point. Camera 1, a live feed webcam located just south of Tel Aviv, looks south at Gaza. Camera 2, a surveillance camera in Israel near the northern border of Gaza, also facing south. Camera 3, a live-streamed Al Jazeera news broadcast in western Gaza, faces east. And Camera 4, a bystander cell phone video just southeast of the hospital where the explosion occurred. With this combined view, we can see the failed rocket launch and resulting explosion. At about 6:59, Camera 2 near the Gaza border shows what rocket experts say is a barrage of short-range rockets, likely capable of traveling between 12 and 25 miles, being launched from western Gaza northeast toward Israel. Then, about 20 seconds later, we see what experts say is a long-range rocket launched from Gaza. The rocket was launched in a northeastern trajectory toward Israel. 10 seconds after launch, a tiny flash of light is seen, and the rocket starts to veer back west. The flash and change in trajectory are consistent with a failed rocket, not with Israel's Iron Dome defense system shooting it down. Weapons experts the Journal spoke to say this change in trajectory is caused by the explosion of the rocket motor. In Camera 3, the Al Jazeera footage, facing east, we can see this minor explosion. Then, a trail of fire spreads as the motor blast ruptures the rocket casing and ignites the fuel. The rocket heads west in the direction of Camera 3, with the hospital in its path. 15 seconds after launch, the rocket fails completely and breaks apart. There's a small explosion on the ground, then a second, larger explosion at the site of the hospital. A nearby resident captures the moment of impact facing northwest toward the hospital. Fire engulfs the courtyard and burns for an extended period. Ya Allah! Ya Allah! Ya Allah! Experts say the large fire is likely due to the amount of fuel still in the rocket just after launch. Explosives experts who reviewed the blast footage and photos of the aftermath see further evidence that the failed rocket was the cause of the explosion on the ground. This crater shows an impact pattern coming from the east, in line with the rocket's path. The shallowness of the crater is also consistent with impact from a failed rocket. Experts say the cars closest to the impact crater were likely hit with fragments from the rocket, causing one to explode and burning several others. These marks next to the crater and damage to the buildings show that the fragments from the impact flew across the grassy areas where civilians were sheltering. Failed rockets are not uncommon in the long-standing conflict between Hamas and Israel. The United Nations determined that in the 2022 flare-up between the two sides, 20% of rockets fired from Gaza failed, and in 3 cases likely resulted in large numbers of civilian casualties.